Let's go to the indices. Well, first of all, let's go to the bigger time frame. This is the monthly chart. And what we can currently see is that Nasdaq now officially came into discount on the monthly structure. So monthly structure, we had a high, a low, a high, and now we're in discount. Does it mean it will reverse? No, it's just like it tagged it. It can reverse here. So as long as price on this time frame is in the premium, you want to look for those shorts back to discount. Well, this is now finally tagged. And the only thing we can see SMT wise is that NQ and DS both took the January low, so Q1 low, and YM did not. Is this very telling for what we can expect? I'm not too sure yet. So we need to see what price can show us on a lower time frame. Sorry, it was the weekly chart, by the way. If I go to the monthly chart, you can see there was a volume imbalance. I was also monitoring to see how price would react. We traded through it. We wicked it before, we traded through it, but that was this specific imbalance here. So a monthly opening gap. So that's the green zone. So that's how you know what that is. How can we now anticipate order flow? Well, first of all, we had massive weekly candles. This on the weekly, this doesn't look this leg lower like it's done. However, we need to take a look at what is happening on the daily chart. Well, first of all, if you follow the thread, I was looking at this specific inverted gap. So we saw that this inversion, it was first a breakaway gap because we never tagged it again. No wick ever came into the gap. And then we got this tap. And it pushed up, it pushed up, it pushed up all the way to rebalance another daily fair value gap. So this bullish one held until we rebalanced this bearish one, and that pushed price down massively again, forming a really good bearish order block. If you can remember in the thread, I was taking a look at that specific order block because we got an engulfing candle. It closed below that bar, and you can see that that bearish order block just held price lower. And that was it. It never came back above it again. But it started consolidating because of NFP. So the entire week it was kind of going up and down, going up and down, going up and down. And then finally we displaced through the bullish one, making this an inversion. And we could also see that on the 1 hour. I will zoom in a bit. But this was the final inversion for price to come lower and take the Q4 low, which was right here. So that was like the bigger draw on liquidity was the quarterly low. So of the last quarter of the year. The thing now is, I'm leaning on like two scenarios. If we go to the weekly, it's kind of obvious that we have a new week opening gap here, which we could revisit. And we have this breakaway gap, or maybe just a bearish gap to come lower. So we have a fair value gap right here. Has price now taken enough sell side liquidity? That is the biggest question I have right now. We took all these lows and now we're kind of closing back inside of the Q4 range. So if we go to the 3-month chart, which shows the quarters, of course this candle still needs to close because we are still inside of the March month. That means that this quarter hasn't been closed yet. But the question is, will it only take the liquidity and close inside of the range again? That could indicate that we are ready to go higher again. But of course, we don't have the monthly close yet, so we cannot look at that yet, but it's something I keep in mind. So on the upper side, if we shift on the lower time frames, I believe we will go to this new week opening gap from last week. That will be my first draw on liquidity if we go up. If we go down, it's kind of clear that this is a breakaway gap, which price never came back to. So I believe we need to come back to this specific fair value gap right in here. So how can we define what price wants to do right now? So these zones to me are now the important ones to pay attention to. Just go to the 1 hour and look at what order flow is showing you. Well, this move lower, we retraced. Where did we retrace to? A fair value gap. What did that do? Push lower again and break structural lows. How did this low get broken? With a displacement. So this displacement to me is kind of important for order flow. Because every big low, so this was a daily low, when it gets displaced through, it will either hold for continuation lower. As you can see over here, the wicks are perfectly showing that they are trading through, but the bodies tell that this never broke. And then we finally made that final move lower. But now we are seeing like that V-shape recovery thing. And price came back up to the same fair value gap again, creating the first bullish one again. Respected it. This could mean we have a reversal in play already, but I personally want to see a close above this, and I want to see how price responds, because we could also just start ranging because we don't have any news, maybe manipulate once more and then go higher, or the other way around. So I want to see how this responds. If we get closes above this, if that gets respected, then I believe that we will see that new week opening gap up here. So the gray zone here. But until then, yeah, we need to see what price wants to do here. If it really starts displacing below this fair value gap again, we could very well see that daily zone right there. So that is what I'm looking for. Well, and here we are today, right? Look at this, perfectly delivered inside of that fair value gap. So this was a breakaway gap price was hunting for to rebalance this. And now you see it's consolidating. So this is very normal. Whenever it reaches a big objective, then price starts consolidating. But as you can see, what I outlined in that specific outlook from the March 8th, you saw me pointing out this order block on the daily, this bearish order block, and it perfectly respected it, pushed price lower and lower and lower until it reached that liquidity. And it was in a hurry. You can see it rushing lower. Well, if we look to that specific 1 hour chart, you see exactly the scenario I pointed out. So we had that SIBI here on the left, price respected it, and we had the bullish BISI over here. And you can see price traded through it, displaced below it, then came a little bit above, but finally showing the respect of it to the downside again. So you can see here perfectly that the order flow was outlined with the 1 hour fair value gaps. And you can see perfectly that it, after that, was in a hurry to come inside of that bigger BISI on the daily chart. So this was a beautiful delivery. I wanted to show you this because I think it's valuable to see how I analyze order flow, how I anticipate certain moves, and also what my invalidation levels are. It's not about being right, but having a plan and having a bullish and bearish plan and invalidation levels. And that helps you, even when your bias is off, not lose any money. So that is, I believe, a really important part of trading. If you would like to get access to these weekly outlooks, which I provide every weekend, I have something for you, because I'm celebrating this year a big milestone. And that is the fact that I am an entrepreneur for 20 years now. So April 1st, no, it's not a joke, April 1st, 2005, I entered as an entrepreneur inside of this crazy world, right? And for me, it has been such an important part of life because I think being an entrepreneur pushes you to become sovereign, independent, a better thinker, a better person, because you do a lot of personal development and you're dependent on your skills. And I think it's such a good way to approach life, to constantly make sure that you evolve and that you get better in life. So I want to celebrate this with you. And that means that until April 1st, I'm running a discount on my community. So what do you get? You get access to my ICT Simplified course. You get access to my weekly outlooks. You get access to my Discord community, where I also share daily updates and I share my exact trades. And that all for 20 years of entrepreneurship. So a discount of 20% on all plans. So that means that you get a lifetime discount if you join within these next, like 10, 12 days. You get a 20% discount forever as long as you stay a member of the community. Link is in the description. You can join there. I would love to see you in the back end. And if you found this valuable, please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of this. Did you learn something? I really want to know, because I want to make videos and I want to make them good videos so you learn stuff. Because I also believe that we can get everything out of YouTube if you know what to look for. So I also want to help you become a better trader just by my free content. But if you would like to learn from me and ask me questions so I can help you become a better trader, then you can join the community now with a 20% discount. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye bye.